Hey, welcome back to All the Yarns podcast. I am Lindsay, also known as All the Yarn on Instagram and All the Yarn Dash on Ravelry. This is a podcast of just all the different things that I'm working on. So here we go. I have two different finished objects. The first, very excited by this one, is, look at the back really. Look at that. This is my running water cardigan by Embroidery Knits. Claudia is just, I really enjoy her designs, but it's got, let's go through some of this. It's got this great ribbing on the back, and then reverse stockinette on the back, the front, the sleeves. All this ribbing. This was rough. I'm not gonna lie, this was really rough to knit. That's a lot of ribbing. That's a lot of ribbing. But it's worth it, you know. I mean, wearing it, I'll just throw it on over my other cardigan. It's fine. You know me, it's fine. Oh my. Yeah, look at that. Oh. It's so cozy. So it's got this amazing collar on it, which I love, and it is not raglan sleeves. My Madewell is raglan sleeves, and I realized with raglan that it tends to fall off my shoulders a lot, so I'm constantly doing this number. But these sleeves, it just sits, doesn't move around a lot. Now, in all fairness, I got this done and there were there was like 3 days of 90-degree weather and I wasn't about to put this on. And then we had like 4 or 5 days where the mornings were in the 50s, so I got to wear this a bunch. But that was only 4 or 5 days of wearing, whereas my Madewell I wore for several months. But in those 4 or 5 days, I never once had to pull, you know, where you're just like, it just constantly is falling off your shoulders. And this sleeve doesn't do that. So I like this. It's very cozy. It is alpaca. It's Cloudborne Fibers, which was the brand sold by Craftsy or Blueprint. Blueprint was shutting down and then somebody bought it, and I don't know what's going on right now. So I don't know if you could even get this yarn anymore, but it's an alpaca sport weight and it's very soft. I love this sweater, but lots of ribbing. There's ribbing here all the way down the back. This massive panel of ribbing. The back. It's really nice though. I really do enjoy it. There's hidden pockets for those of us that like pockets. I'm not a massive pocket person on my sweaters, but I do hate a day that I'm not wearing something with pockets on it. So, you know, in a pinch, if you're not wearing pockets, throw this on. You got pockets, I guess. But I really do like this. Claudia is the designer behind Embroidery Knits, and I am a fan. I'm already knitting another pattern from her, and in my Make 9 for 2020 is yet another pattern from her. And I've never knit any of her patterns, but I got through this. I really enjoyed it. It was nice. It was a good knit. She's one of those nice, or I shouldn't say nice, but she's one of those fun designers that will interact with you on Instagram. So I had posted at one point like, oh my gosh, this knitting, you know, a knitted on collar. You're talking about hundreds and hundreds of stitches because, you know, you go all the way up and around the shoulder, all the way back down, and this is a long cardigan. And, you know, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be done with this ribbing. This is, you know, it wasn't like a complaining against the designer. It was just I'm never going to be done. And she was so cool. She messaged me back, but you're almost there. And I'm like, you're right, I'm almost there. So it's just like a nice encouragement to keep going. And I really appreciated that. Not all designers will comment when you're posting about their designs on Instagram, but I thought that was really cool. So, yeah, anyway, I mean, and I don't follow all of the designers that I knit, but I started following her because I thought that was really nice. And I'm glad I did, because it led me to try another one of her designs, which I'll talk about in just a minute. But this is my running water cardigan by Claudia from Himawari Knits, out of Cloudborne Fibers, which you may or may not ever be able to buy again, because I don't know what's going on with Blueprint / Craftsy. But I recommend this. It's a lot of ribbing. It's so much ribbing. But it's worth it. I thought it was worth it. It was worth it for me. So that is my first finished object, one that I've just really been enjoying. Our weather has kind of been weird. It'll be like in the 90s for several days, and then it cools way off. So I feel like, and I pull this out when it's cool, and then it starts getting hot again. I don't wear it. So I finally put it away with all my other winter knits, and then it gets cold again. I pull it right back out. So I've really enjoyed it. It is, this Alpaca Sport is a bit on the warmer side. I would not call this normally like a summer cardigan. My Madewell I would call a summer cardigan. It's got some silk in it, which I think allows it to breathe a little bit better. So, but this, I wouldn't call this a summer sweater or a summer cardigan. Normally I would probably put it away for summer and not get it back out. It's just, you know, it's the shiny new object, so I keep going for it. It is very cozy. It is great for 50-degree summer mornings, though. I mean, it's been nice. So yeah, running water. That's done. Next up, okay, this is done. You're gonna look at it and you're like, that's not done, but it is. I just didn't weave in all the ends. I'm such a bad knitter. It is done though. This is a faded shawl of my design. I'm writing it up. I've gotten a couple requests on Instagram for the pattern. It is written, it isn't tested, and I've never written a pattern before. So I'm trying to decide if I tell people, you know, like, oh yeah, here you go, I'll just release this, or should I I mean, I feel like it needs to be tested first, even if it's free. I hate knitting patterns, even free patterns that have not been tested. So I gotta work on that. But that's neither here nor there. This is beautiful. Let's talk about this. So this is a faded shawl, and it starts with 6 and 7 fibers, and this one is the Gray Lady. I knew I was going to get there. This one is the Gray Lady. I then fade it to, this is 6 and 7 fibers, the Gray Lady. Faded to, Lolo did it, I think it's Mustard's Last Stand. Faded to, I'll Teach the Lot, which is also 6 and 7 fibers. Followed by Becoming Art. Ooh, there you go. It's very yellow. I don't remember the name of this. This has been, these are all scraps. I don't know if you notice, it's just little bits. I use this to stash bust. So I'm not sure if I don't know if I was tracking my projects in Ravelry at the time that I bought this. I'm very good at tracking my projects in Ravelry now, so I would have had tons of notes, but I think it's Fezzik. It's coming back to me. I think this is Fezzik by Becoming Art Fibers. This is like Too Hard Cookie or something. It has something to do with a cookie. I'm not really good at this, am I? I should have had this written down. That's all right, whatever. This is by Dyeforwool. And then once you get there, here we go, all the way there, and then we just reverse it. So then I go from this color, I fade it back into Fezzik, back into I'll Teach the Lot, back into Mustard's Last Stand, and finally ending with the gray lady. All right, and just cause, you know, why show a shawl when you can wear a shawl? There we go. And then one side is obviously a lot longer than the other. I could wrap it around my neck a second time to get things a little bit, maybe not that way. Let's try again, shall we? So if I go, here we go. I have a lot of shawls, so I got this. Start with the short end. Get the point in front. Hold it down. Bring this around. Bring that short end around again. There we go. So if I want more of a symmetric look, there we go. If I don't want to bother with that, take that long end, tie a knot. There we go. Can we knot it anywhere if I want that knot lower? Gotta watch the girls. Don't want a knot. You don't want a knot bumping into those all day. You can tie it a little bit lower. Now it's starting to bother me. Now I gotta get it just right. There we go, like that. Loads of ways to wear this though. Oh, we could tie it over here. I don't like that. You know what I do like? Maybe that. Tie it in the back. And then stay in the back. Just the cowl kind of thing in the front. All right, I'm having too much fun now. That's not what this is about. This is about, whew, it's kind of warm in here too. This is about the awesomeness that is this faded shawl. Woo! Yeah. So that's off the needles. Oh, isn't that pretty? It's really pretty. What you can't see, because I mean, even in person this is hard to see, is that I'll Teach the Lot has, let me see if I can find it again. There it is. Right there. It's a little bit of pink. And this Lolo Did It Mustard's last stand. They're like the itty bittiest tiny speckles of pink in it as well. I'm not usually a pink person, even though I'm kind of wearing coral today. But it was kind of fun. There's quite a bit of yellows and grays, and then just these itty bitty micro specks of pink following into more grays and bigger specks of pink. So I really enjoyed how these played together. It's kind of fun. Very monochromatic. But that's fun too, you know? Like sometimes it's fun to fade from one color to another, and sometimes it's fun to just fade the different shades of one color. I enjoy it. This is a lot of seed stitch, and I've decided that this year is the year of knit one, purl one from me. I have done so much ribbing this year, and if I'm not ribbing, I'm doing seed stitch, which is also a knit one, purl one, just in a slightly different order. It's been slow. It's been some slow knitting because of that. But it's been fun. I loved all of my finished objects, of course. So I'm not really complaining. It's just like, why did I pick all these patterns that contain like miles of knit one, purl ones? Anyway, those are my finished objects. I've got those two things done. I'm very excited about that. The yellow shawl has been on my needles for a long time. I want to say I started that like probably about a year ago. Actually, I think it was last summer. And Running Water's been on my needles. Well, I just cast it on this year. I mean, I have much older whips, but I guess it feels like a long time because I set it down so I could knit that blue. It's called Jersey Peach. I believe it has been released now. But I set all of my stuff aside so I could get that test knit done. And then when I, got that done, I was pulling out everything else. I had to remind myself where I was on everything. So it kind of felt like these took a long time, but mainly it was because I stopped everything to get that test knit done. Speaking of test knits, I've got another one. I'm never going to get any of the stuff done that I said I was going to do this year because I keep seeing all these test knits that are so cool. I want to try. I love helping designers out. You know, honestly, there's nothing that there's not like a qualification to become a test knitter. If you just follow the hashtag #testknitterwanted on Instagram, it all shows up. So, you know, and you just tell the designer, hey, I can knit. Are you okay if I try out your design? And they're usually really cool about it. So here's my current test knit. This is also a design by Claudia from Himawari Knits. And I found out about this test knit because I started following her because she was so cool to encourage me to keep knitting miles of ribbing. And this actually doesn't have any knit one purl ones in it, at least not that I've seen or that I've gotten to. This is a bottom up. Oh, look at that color. That's the color. Kind of, yeah, I know. I don't wear pink very often. Like, this will be the pink episode because I'm not a pink person. This is new to me yarn. This, I'm going to butcher this. It's a French yarn. I did not ever take French, so I don't pronounce. I took Spanish, and I can read Spanish even though I don't know necessarily what I'm saying, but I learned the alphabet, you know, and I've not learned the French alphabet. So, this is De Rerum Natura. I know, I butchered that. I'm sorry. I'm everyone that can speak French is like, my ears are bleeding. I'm sorry. I don't. Anyway, I'm going to just say this with the American pronunciation. Antigone. I don't really know how it is pronounced, but that's what I call it because that's how it looks like it should be pronounced in English. But anyway, this is the, oh goodness, here we go. The Pamplemousse. What do you think? Pamplemousse? I'll put it all down below. Anyway, that's the colorway. When I saw this online, I had to order this. So when the test knit call went out, she had said that this is the yarn that she used for her sample. I have never knit, wait, I better check myself. Let me say it this way. I don't recall ever knitting anything out of the yarn it called for. I always sub. It doesn't even like come into my brain that I should look at what yarn it was knit out of. I just look at what weight is recommended and run. Grab something from my stash, you know, whatever. But I've never knit. This is 100% organic linen. And I think back when I was a very new knitter, I knit something out of a linen blend, but it was a low linen content. And I know I never finished the project because it is in my hibernating projects that I don't know of. I mean, maybe someday I'll pull out and you guys can see all the different things that Lindsay had, all the different projects that Lindsay has hibernating stashed somewhere. But it was a blend. And I thought, you know, I've heard of knitting with 100% linen. I certainly enjoy wearing 100% linen. Let's go for this. I'll order and knit with the yarn that the design was intended for. So I had to find it because my local yarn store doesn't carry anything that's 100% linen. So I had to kind of go online and figure out where in the States could I get this and so she had recommended a store in Germany, which is where I thought, oh, maybe she's from Germany, that had just gotten some of this yarn in. And she said, so if you want to use the yarn recommended by the pattern, you know, I happen to know that this store has some. Well, COVID, I mean, shipping is bad just within the United States. Trying to get something from across the pond, it's crazy hard. So I looked in the States that, you know, I tried to find this in the States, and there was a place in North Carolina, Fiber Space, and they had some, but I had to get a color that I needed 5 skeins for the size that I'm knitting, and I had to find a color that they had in stock that had 5 skeins. And of the colors that had 5 skeins or more, I thought, well, I'm gonna take a chance on this color. And I texted my friend, I said, this is either gonna be kind of a coral or it's gonna be bubblegum pink. And I'm really hoping it's not bubblegum. But do you guys remember, it was like years ago, there was that dress, like, is this blue and black or is this white and gold or whatever the colors were, and it just depended on, you know, how you saw it or whatnot, what colors you saw. And I could just tell, this is one of those pictures. This is one of those pictures that you can tell. When you're like, oh man, this looks like coral, but it could be bubblegum pink. So I was really hoping it wasn't bubblegum pink, and turns out it matches my shirt. It's a very lovely coral, and it's just, which is great, and it's even kind of a dirty coral. So it's not super bright, and it really, like that. I like that. Yeah. I love this color. And I don't like pink. I don't do pinks. I don't do reds. I stay away from that color. I don't have any problem with it. I don't mind. It's just, it's not my thing. You know, it's just not. I love blues and greens. That's really usually my thing. And this though. Yeah, I'm a fan. So anyway, I don't want to give away anything on this other than she is, you know, we're allowed to post. She said we were allowed to talk about our progress and whatnot. So I know it's okay that it's not like a secret. I can't talk about it. So this is my progress so far. I'm about 2/3 done before I get to the split for the sleeves. This is bottom up. And let me tell you, working with linen is different. Like it just wants, I don't want to play with it because I know I'm going to make a mess. It just wants to come off the ball of yarn. Like everything about this yarn wants to not be in a ball. So I have a spot where I'm knitting, and it's the only place where I will work on this top. It's not really a sweater. I don't know that we have sleeves. It's short sleeves if there are sleeves, so I don't want to call it a sweater. It's really a top. But there's only one place that I will work on this, and it doesn't go anywhere with me. It doesn't move from that spot, except I had to move it here for to record this. But I don't mess with it because this yarn just does not want to be in the ball. It wants to just explode. So I try very hard not to touch it. And I think I was watching the Knit Girls. Oh, it's been a while, and Leslie was knitting something out of linen, and she kind of said the same thing, and I had that in mind when I was ordering it. I thought, man, I wonder if that was, I couldn't remember if it was linen. I had no idea what the episode was, but when I cast on, I thought, yep, this must be what she's talking about. So it's a little bit different. If you're a newer knitter, I don't know that I would start knitting with linen. I would be very, very frustrated if I wasn't already very adept at yarn management. I'm not saying you can't, just saying it may not be the first thing you want to do if you don't want to be frustrated. So just a public service announcement about knitting with 100% linen yarn. That being said, this drape is amazing. You can't, yeah. It's soft, not in the same way that wool is soft, but it's soft in its own. Maybe I shouldn't say soft. It's smooth. That's what it is. It's just very smooth. So I can't see it. I'm petting it. It's just a very smooth. I love it on the stockinette section. It's very smooth. I don't know what's going on with this. The directions made it seem like it wasn't going to curl, but mine is definitely curling at the bottom. I don't do curly bottoms. That sounded funny. I don't know why, but it did. I don't like the rolled up hem. It's not my thing. So I'm hoping I can really block this out. It was cast on smaller needles, so it shouldn't flare out at the bottom when I block it. If I block it and it starts to curl, I've already told the designer, you know, I might add a crochet beaded border to weigh it down, because I think this would be much more elegant just having a very straight bottom hem. And so I would add some beads to add some weight to it to keep it from curling. So yeah, I've got another third to go in exactly what you're already seeing, and then I've got a split for the sleeves, and we'll see how this flies from there. I am very much like Leslie from Not Quite Enough Yarn, where I tend to run out of yarn a lot. But since I was using a yarn I'm not familiar with, and this is a test, I did actually buy extra. So hopefully I don't run into that issue this time. But that is one of my whips. Another one, I'm very excited about this. Since this pattern came out, I have been wanting to knit this. And while I don't always knit things, as far as I know, I don't know that I've ever knit something in the exact yarn that it came in. When I saw this sweater come out, I did know I wanted it in that color. I knew I wanted to knit it, and I wanted to knit it in the color that it was shown. And this is my Winterfell. Oh, look at that. Now, obviously this isn't the exact color because I'm not using the exact same yarn, but guys, and the contrast, you really see that, you can see the contrast a lot better in the video right now. In person, you don't quite see that contrast, as it doesn't show up as much. It's very muted, but this color, oh, be still my heart. This is Winterfell. I know who it's by. It is by Katrin Schneider, and it's amazing. I am knitting this out of Dream in Color Colossal sock, which is an exclusive sock, an exclusive base. Oh, it's so beautiful. Sold by my local yarn store, which is Simply Socks Yarn Company. I believe actually she just got in another shipment of the Colossal sock. It's 150 grams for like $21, maybe $21.50. It's an amazing price, especially for those of us that are knitting sweaters this year. I may have gotten some. I may have gotten a lot, possible, but when, you know, that's a really good price for sweater quantities. I can't help myself. It's a nice base. It feels like it's gonna hold up really well. Like, I don't know, you can just kind of tell. Like it's soft, but it also feels very sturdy. So I like the yarn. I can't wait to get this done. I work on this. This project goes with me when I go places. So my grayish, this test is currently being called the grayish. I think that's it, just grayish. It's currently being called grayish. So that stays in one spot, but I don't stay in one spot. So this Winterfell goes with me wherever I go. I have split for the sleeves. What would you call that? 3 inches maybe? Does that look like 3 inches? Kind of. Split for the sleeves, got about maybe 3 inches of body done. I don't really have a timeline on it. I'm so excited to be knitting this. It was not part of my original make 9. I had done like a secondary make 9 and I put that on there, so it was like, hey, if I get my make 9 done, I'd love to knit this. But I didn't have the pattern, and I tried to make my make 9 out of patterns that I already owned. Well then, and I know I've mentioned this already, but just in case, you know, this is your first episode, one of my friends bought me the Winterfell cardigan for my birthday back in March. So once I had the pattern, I mean, make 9, schmake 9. I'm making the Winterfell. So the Winterfell, you may or may not have noticed, also does not have a lot of knit one, purl ones in it. So I'm very excited about that. Kind of taking a break from knit one, purl one. It's been nice. I have one more other knitting whip, and this is Pointe by Julie Knits in Paris. I've started it. Doesn't look bad on camera. I gotta tell you guys, I don't like this. It's not the design. The design is fine. I'm using right now, this is La Bien-Aimée Parchment Mohair silk, and this is Dyeforwool. Oh, it's really blown out. Hi. Oh, there you go. Dirty Snow, and it's just like a grayish white. It's really close to Madeline Tosh paper. Is that the one? Is that the one I'm thinking of? It's very close to Madeline Tosh's Farmhouse White, which is like a white, gray white, dirty white, whatever. So I thought I wanted to make a very neutral shawl, because sometimes I have a lot of shawls, y'all. I have a lot of shawls. And yet there are times when I put together this amazing outfit, I want to throw a shawl on, and nothing matches. So I thought, hey, I'm going to make a very neutral shawl. And you know, this is a very light gray, kind of not quite the same thing, but you know, I mean, I thought, okay, I'll do that. And so I'm knitting this up, right? And I know neutrals are not the most fun to knit. Y'all, I just finished the running water, very gray cardigan, solid gray cardigan. I get it. I know neutrals are not fun to knit with. So I was ready for that. I thought I was mentally prepared. The design is fine, but I can't stand this. But I can't stand this. There is just something about this that it's not working. One of my friends said that it could be that this single is a very light fingering, and maybe the pattern, because you're alternating it with the mohair, it needs the thicker yarn of a true fingering. That might be it. It might be that the colors just don't play well together. I can kind of see it here, maybe better in person. It's just something's not working. So I've set this aside. Got pretty far though, right? I've been making so many sweaters. I'm enjoying it. I know I just finished a shawl, but it's the only shawl I've been working on for a year. So I thought that this year I would, you know, try to maybe make 1 or 2 in addition to just making sweaters. So I was really hoping that this was going to work out, that this was one of the shawls I would make this year, but I think, I don't know, I keep putting it in timeout. I think it's going to get frogged. And I don't even, like, normally when I think of frogging, I'm like, whoa, 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 you know, does it really need to be frogged? Like, let's step off the ledge here. I mean, does that really need to happen? And the idea of frogging this, like, doesn't even give me a pause. So that kind of tells me I am not married to this and committed to this, have any good feelings about this at all. Because to me, frogging sounds like the best idea. I just don't know what to do with it then, because I was really hoping that, I love brioche, so I was excited to get through this easy garter stitch section and get to the brioche. And I don't know what colors to replace this with. Like, I made this decision to put these colors together for this project, I don't know, it's like 7 months ago. And I'm not feeling inspired. So I don't know what colors to put together for this shawl. So I don't know what's gonna happen to it. I mean, I'll probably frog it. I just was hoping when I frogged it that I could immediately recast it on with the new colors. And I'm not feeling inspired to do the shawl. I'm not really inspired to do any shawl. I just want to knit cardigans. So I guess I should just do what I want, right? It's just, no one's putting pressure on me to knit shawls except myself. Everybody else suffer with that, like, oh, I just want to knit sweaters. And then the other little voice in your head's like, I really want you to knit a shawl. And then like the front part of your brain is, no, I really just want to knit sweaters. And the back part, but I really want a shawl. What do you do with that? I don't know. I hope it's not just me, but hey, maybe I'm the crazy crayon in the box. I don't know. I'm okay with that. That is my only other, excuse me, that's my last knitting whip. I do have one other whip that I'm kind of excited to share. So hold on a second. Here we go. Years ago, I may have said this in my first episode, I cross-stitched. And I cross-stitched a ton of stuff. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Something I never did, though, was embroidery. I have started embroidering these fish. They're pretty cool. It is a pattern that I bought from Etsy. I am not someone that wants to necessarily invest in everything when I am flirting with a new hobby or a new craft. So I had some white cotton muslin just hanging around because of a different project I was working on when I was sewing. So I pulled that out. When I decided to embroider these fish, I had the muslin, I had the floss, I had the needles. I did have to buy I bought the pattern for the fish, and I had to buy that marker. Oh man, that's blown out. There we go. I had to buy the marker to transfer the pattern onto the cloth. But I think that was it. So it's coming. I have 2 fish done. I have 6 to go, and what started this was I redid our bathroom. And by redid, I repainted the walls. I had painted it almost 3 years ago, and as soon as the paint was dry, I realized I hated it. And we have been working on other projects around the house, and I felt, man, I have so many other projects to do. I hate this bathroom, but it's already got a fresh coat of paint on it, and I have all these other projects to do. How do I justify spending time and money on something that isn't broke? So I lived with it for 3 years. Most of the house projects have dived down. We still have some big ones to do, but it was kind of like, so I talked to my husband. I said, hey, I gave him this color card of like 25 colors, and I put it next to the wall, and I said, hey, I'd like to repaint the bathroom walls. Can you pick a color off of this? And I had the one I wanted, but I thought, let's see what he comes up with. Well, he picked the same. He said, out of all of those, if those are my choices, this is the one I like. It was the same one. So I thought, okay, let's go with this. I had originally wanted to really redo this bathroom. And I knew if that was going to happen, it was like a 5-year timeline. Like, we weren't even going to look at this for another 5 years. So I thought, well, let's see what we can do to not make that big of a mess. So I also bought some stain, and I bought some new hardware, and oh my gosh, the paint was so impactful. Just completely it redid the whole mood of the bathroom. I love it. I love it so much. To me, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous color. It is the color of slate. I mean, if you you think slate blue, that is this color. It's beautiful. Then I restained our cabinets. I thought I was restaining them the same color, but actually it went just a shade darker, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's beautiful. It really brought out the richness in the wood. The cabinets had been, they're 30 some years old. They had a lot of love. The family that lived here before us really loved those cabinets. They had scratches and dents and whatnot, as you do when you're using things, and so putting that fresh coat of stain on just really smoothed it out. It was, really brought out the wood. It's just beautiful. And then switching out the hardware really updated it, so it's no longer like a 1970s, 1980s house. It's like, oh, hey, this looks like something from this century, So it was a lot of fun. Well, looking around, not that I'm really, really big into bathroom art, I'm not, but the color on the wall is this very deep, rich slate gray blue, and I really wanted something white to pop. And I could not find anything. Like I looked at so many different places, so many places online, so many places in person. I couldn't find anything. And I wanted it to be something that was kind of us, and we are very DIY in this house. Very DIY. So I thought, okay, I'll make something, but I really don't want something like yarn or macrame in my bathroom. And so my husband fishes, so the fish are for him, and then the fact that I'm making it, I'm embroidering it, it seemed to work. The grays look great. These are different colors of gray, but this one right here, that dark one, is very close to that same slate gray. So anyway, it was something new I'm gonna try. I am challenging myself to have at least one more fish done before you see this face on another podcast. I'm usually pretty good when I challenge myself to things. So now, I'll bet within a week I have it done, just because, you give me a deadline, you give me a goal, I'm gonna beat it, even if it's my own. I'm gonna be like, oh, I got a goal, I'm gonna crush it. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I do. It's so funny to me. But anyway, I crack myself up, but we all got to know how to motivate ourselves, right? So now I'm committed to you guys that I'm going to have another fish done before you see this face. And actually, I think it'll be pretty easy to do. That the test knit's coming along really well. I have some vacation time coming up. Very excited about. I decided to stick with this corally pink theme, and this is some, oh dude, it's also French. It's not good. Okay, I'm gonna butcher this. You see that? Nope, don't. I'm not even gonna try. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this. This is from Aimee. A little blown out. There we go. Let's put the tag in front. Here we go. Ooh. There we go. Oh, that color's good right there. Tag's not. There we go. Aimee. Is it pêche mignon? I don't know. I don't know how to say it at all, but I'll put it down below. Anyway, it also matches my shirt. It is a gorgeous corally pink. I like it. I'm not a pink girl, I promise. This is my pink episode. This is where it's all things pink. Kind of. Not really. There's not a lot of pink in here. It was my shirt, the shirt I'm knitting, and a couple skeins of yarn. But that's pink overload for me. But anyway, this is a gorgeous corally pink. It's been in my stash for a very long time. Anyway, I also love, it's got some of my favorite teal in it. So this has been in my stash for quite a while. I have 3 skeins of the stuff. And I feel like I could find a contrast color and make something like, I don't know, a sweater out of it. But I'm also nervous to have a sweater out of a single ply. That makes me nervous. Everybody tells me don't do it. It's gonna, you know, it's not gonna hold up. It's gonna shed like crazy. It'll pill like crazy. So I haven't done anything with it, but I think the problem is I really want to knit a sweater out of it, and then I don't because I don't know if it's gonna hold up. And I really love this yarn, and I don't want anything to happen to this yarn, even when it's an FO. Very protective of it. So it just sits as one of my pretties. Just let it. Just let it display. It's really pretty. I love it. It's one of my favorite yarns. One of my favorite colorways ever. Love it. Not ashamed. All right, so there's my attitude of gratitude. Very grateful for the pish, mignon. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so sorry if you speak French. I'm embarrassed. That's okay, right? Like, you're not gonna hate me because I'm ignorant, I hope. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys all enjoy your crafting time. I hope you guys all stay safe and healthy. It sounds like COVID's not going away anytime soon. So hopefully you guys, stay healthy. So stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you in about a month. That's kind of my plan, is doing these once a month towards the end of each month. I was a little late for June. We're getting it done today. But so I'll see you in a couple of weeks, hopefully with another fish done and maybe a summer top as well. Y'all take care.